Daniel sat alone at a corner table of a small roadside cafe, his spoon stirring a bowl of steaming soup he hadn't yet tasted, not because he wasn't hungry but because loneliness had a way of making food feel like just another thing to get through. It had been months since he returned from overseas, different time zones, different battles, different skies, but somehow the silence of this quiet town felt heavier than anything he had faced before. He had once dreamed of coming home to laughter, warmth, and family, but dreams don't always wait forever, and life rarely pauses for anyone's return. His parents gone, the love he once had moved on, and his home felt like a museum of memories he didn't know how to live with anymore. The sound of chairs scraping, plates clinking, and soft jazz playing couldn't fill the hollow ache sitting beside him like an invisible shadow. He thought maybe food in a public place would make him feel less alone, maybe a stranger's smile would remind him he was still human, but all he saw were families laughing, couples holding hands, friends sharing jokes, and every smile felt like a window he was staring through from the outside. He lowered his head, took a slow sip, and whispered to himself, another meal alone, just another day. Just then, the cafe door opened with a gentle ring, and a cold winter breeze swept in, along with a young woman holding the hand of a little boy no older than 6. Her coat was worn, her shoes thin, her eyes tired but still carrying a light, the kind people get from holding on even when life gives them nothing to hold. The boy's small fingers clutched hers tightly, his cheeks pink from the cold, and his stomach rumbled loud enough that even Daniel could hear. They stood near the entrance awkwardly, scanning the room like people who weren't sure they had permission to exist here. Daniel tried to look away, but the little boy's eyes caught his, big, brown, hopeful, hungry eyes, and in that moment, something in Daniel's heart shifted. The mother approached the counter, voice soft, trembling but polite, "Excuse me, is there a kid's meal that costs less than $5? The cashier glanced over with the bored expression of someone who had forgotten what struggle looked like. "Everything's on the menu, ma'am," he replied without looking up. She checked her purse, a few coins, a small crumpled bill, nothing more. She swallowed hard and whispered to her son, "Let's sit, sweetie. Mommy will think of something." The little boy nodded, trying to be brave. Kids like him learn to be brave too early. Tables were full except for one, Daniel's. She hesitated, then gently approached, voice shaking with both humility and motherly strength. "Sir, my son's hungry, and we don't have anywhere else to sit. Could we stay here a little while?" Daniel blinked, stunned, not by the request, but by how long it had been since anyone asked to be near him. His throat felt tight, he nodded before words could form. The little boy climbed into the seat opposite Daniel, staring with fascination at the steaming soup like it was a treasure. Daniel smiled weakly, pushing the bowl slightly toward him. "Would you like some?" The boy's mother's eyes widened, tears threatening. "No, no, I can't let you do that. Please don't think we're here to," but the boy whispered with innocent hunger, "Mom, it smells really good." She looked torn between pride and the love only a mother knows, the kind that would starve so her child wouldn't have to. Daniel spoke softly, "It's okay. I ordered too much anyway." That was a lie, it was his only meal. But loneliness had taught him that sometimes giving is the only way to feel like you still exist. The boy took a spoonful, eyes glowing, like warmth had finally reached him from the inside. His mother watched, tears silently falling, pretending to wipe dust from her face. Daniel's heart felt full and hollow at once, he wasn't used to feeling needed anymore. The mother finally whispered, "Thank you, sir. You have no idea what this means." Daniel answered, "Maybe I do." She smiled, tired, grateful, human, the kind of smile that can melt winter. In that quiet cafe corner, 3 broken lives sat together, and suddenly Daniel wasn't eating alone anymore. And without knowing how or why, something inside him whispered, maybe loneliness isn't the end of my story after all, maybe this is the beginning. Days passed like soft echoes in the small town, yet the memory of that cold afternoon lingered in Daniel's heart like a gentle warmth he couldn't quite explain. He found himself returning to the cafe, not out of habit but out of hope, hope that he might see the mother and her little boy again, hoped that life hadn't given him just one moment of connection only to take it away forever. He sat at the same corner table every day, the seat across from him always empty, but never truly lonely anymore, the ghost of their laughter, the quiet gratitude in the mother's tear-filled eyes, and the boy's innocent joy replayed in his mind like the season's most precious film. The world outside moved in predictable rhythm, workers rushing, school bells ringing, buses groaning through traffic, but inside him something had changed. He wasn't simply existing anymore, he was waiting, yearning, believing that maybe he wasn't meant to walk through life unseen. Then one morning, just when doubt began to stir, the cafe door swung open, and there they were, the same tired but brave mother, and the little boy with the hopeful eyes, both wrapped in worn coats but glowing with a warmth stronger than winter. When the boy saw Daniel, his face lit up like sunrise breaking through clouds, and he ran to the table with unfiltered excitement. "Sir! We found you again," he exclaimed, climbing into the chair without hesitation, as if the seat belonged to him. The mother approached slower, humility in every motion, her voice soft as falling snow. "I hope we're not intruding. He insisted we come, he wanted to thank you properly." Daniel smiled, genuinely, freely, something his heart hadn't remembered how to do until they walked into his life. "You're not intruding," he replied. "I've been waiting." The woman's eyes softened, surprise flickering like a candle before she sat down, hands folded, posture guarded by habit rather than pride. She introduced herself, "I'm Anna, and this is my son, Oliver." Daniel repeated their names quietly, like they were fragile treasures. For a moment, none of them spoke. Instead, they shared a peaceful silence, the kind that feels like home rather than emptiness. Oliver tapped the table excitedly. "Mom said we should thank you properly, so I made you this." He held out a crumpled drawing made with faded crayons, Daniel sitting at the cafe table, the bowl of soup in front of him, and a little boy smiling beside him. Scribbled in uneven letters were the words, "Thank you for sharing your food."